Hello there. I'm so glad you're here. Maybe it's been a long day, or maybe you just like to fall asleep thinking about stars, galaxies, and the quiet mysteries of the universe. Either way, tonight's journey is for you. There's nothing you need to do now. Just let your body rest, your mind slow down, and your thoughts drift, because tonight we're exploring the universe itself. Not just one galaxy or star, but the vast expanding whole. We'll move gently from fact to fact, learning about black holes, ancient light, dark matter, and distant galaxies. Some things may surprise you. Others may stay with you like a quiet thought at the edge of sleep. And if these calm explorations help you rest, feel free to like and subscribe. It helps others find their way here too. Now, if you're ready, let's begin. Tonight we are not merely observing the cosmos from the ground, we are drifting within it. Imagine for a moment that you have left the weight of the world far below you. You are floating aboard a quiet vessel, a station of peace and science, coasting 400 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. The day's work is done, the checklists are complete. The hum of the station has settled into a steady, rhythmic background note, like the purr of a sleeping cat, or the sound of the ocean inside a shell. It is time to rest, but before you drift into dreams, you float over to the nearest window to watch the day end. In orbit, the sun does not set the way it does on Earth. Down there, sunset is a slow, lazy affair that paints the sky for an hour. Up here, it is a swift and dramatic curtain call. We are moving at 17,500 miles per hour, circling the planet every 90 minutes. This means we see 16 sunsets every single day, but this one, this specific passage into darkness, is the one we have chosen to mark the beginning of our night. You watch through the thick, multi-layered glass of the cupola. The sun is a brilliant, blinding diamond, suspended in the absolute blackness of space. Its light is pure and unfiltered, sharper than anything ever seen through an atmosphere. It illuminates the solar arrays of the station, turning them into shimmering panels of gold and copper. Then, silently and rapidly, the angle changes. The station slips toward the shadow of the Earth. The transition happens in seconds. The sun touches the curve of the planet's horizon. Instantly, the thin line of the atmosphere ignites. It glows with colors that have no names in human language, a spectrum of electric blues, violets, and a burnished orange that seems to burn like a cold fire. It is like looking at the cross-section of an opal. You can see the layers of air that protect all life, fragile and impossibly thin against the infinite void. And then, just as quickly as it began, the sun is gone. It slips behind the hard edge of the world. The light vanishes. The station is plunged into sudden shadow. For a moment, your eyes struggle to adjust to the change. The brilliant gold on the solar panels fades to a dull metallic grey, and then disappears into the dark. You are now flying through the Earth's shadow. As your vision settles, the world below begins to reveal itself. It is no longer the bright, clouded blue marble of the daytime. It has transformed into a vast, velvety presence, a sleeping giant turning slowly beneath you. You are passing over the Pacific Ocean now. It is vast and deep, a huge expanse of emptiness that reflects the moonlight. The moon is out there somewhere, perhaps behind you, casting a pale silver sheen on the water. It looks like a smear of mercury on black velvet, moving and shifting as the waves catch the light. From this height, the ocean looks solid, like a sheet of dark glass. There is no sound of crashing waves, no smell of salt air. There is only the visual grandeur of water covering the world. You feel a profound sense of peace looking at it. It is the cradle of life, vast and ancient, and it is resting just as you are about to rest. The station continues its silent glide, crossing from the ocean toward the continents. You can tell land is approaching not by the shape of the coastlines, which are hidden in shadow, but by the appearance of light. The cities of Earth look different from space. They do not look like chaotic centers of noise and traffic. They look like biology. They resemble glowing golden moss growing in the valleys and along the rivers. You drift over the coast. The lights of the cities are warm and amber, connected by thin spiderweb strands of highways. You can see the density of life, millions of people ending their days, turning off their lights, reading their own bedtime stories. It feels intimate, watching humanity from this distance. You are separated from them by a vacuum, yet you feel a deep, protective connection. You are the night watchman, observing the slumber of the world. Occasionally, you see a flash of white light deep within a cloud bank. It is a thunderstorm, viewed from above. On the ground, that storm is loud and wet and imposing. Up here, it is a silent flicker, a tiny spark plug firing in the engine of the atmosphere. It looks harmless, even beautiful, like a camera flash going off under a blanket. These silent fireworks are a reminder of the energy and motion occurring far below, while up here, everything is still. The curvature of the Earth is always visible, a distinct arc that separates the planet from the star-filled backdrop, and the stars are everywhere. Without the atmosphere to scatter the light, they do not twinkle. They burn with a steady, unblinking intensity. They are sharp points of ice-white, red and blue, dusted across the darkness in a density that makes it hard to pick out the familiar constellations. You realize you are not looking up at the sky, you are floating in the sky. You are part of the firmament. There is a distinct feeling of falling that comes with orbit. It is not a frightening sensation of dropping, but a gentle, continuous surrender. You are falling around the planet, held in a perfect balance between the gravity that pulls you down and the speed that pushes you forward. This balance creates the weightlessness that you feel in your body right now. Your arms float gently in front of you. Your legs curl slightly. There is no pressure on your back, no strain on your neck. You are perfectly supported by nothing at all. This final pass over the night side of Earth before you sleep is a ritual. It grounds you, paradoxically, by showing you the ground you have left behind. The blue marble has become a black marble, speckled with gold, wrapped in a thin halo of violet. It is safe, it is steady. And as the station flies silently over the sleeping continents, you feel a deep resonance with that stillness. The world is turning, the stars are watching, and you are drifting in the safe, quiet space between them, ready to close your eyes and let the rotation of the world rock you to sleep. Turning away from the window requires only the slightest pressure of your fingertips against the thick glass. In this environment, your body is a feather, a cloud, a thought. Newton's laws of motion are no longer abstract equations from a textbook, but the gentle rules that govern your every movement. You push off, and you drift backward, leaving the stunning view of the sleeping Earth behind you. It is time to navigate through the station to your quarters, a journey that feels less like walking down a hallway and more like gliding through a long, tech-filled coral reef. Movement here is a dance. You do not step. You do not walk. You pull yourself along the walls using handrails that are painted a cheerful yellow or blue. Your hands become your feet, guiding you through the modules with a rhythmic, hand-over-hand motion that has become second nature. You catch a rail, pull your body forward, and let the momentum carry you across the gap to the next hold. It is effortless. You are flying in the truest sense of the word, suspended in the air like a diver in a deep ocean, but without the resistance of water. The air around you is cool and filtered, circulating constantly to prevent pockets of carbon dioxide from forming around your face while you hover. As you glide through the laboratory modules, you notice the physical relief that comes with this weightlessness. On Earth, gravity is a constant, invisible compressor. It pulls on your spine, compresses your joints, and demands that your muscles work tirelessly just to keep you upright. Up here, that burden is lifted. You can feel your spine lengthening, stretching out as the vertebrae separate ever so slightly. The nagging ache in your lower back that you might have carried for years on the ground simply vanishes. Your shoulders drop, not from gravity, but from a total lack of tension. Your arms naturally float upward in front of you, drifting into what astronauts call the neutral body posture. It is the position the human body assumes when it is completely free of stress. A gentle curve of the spine, knees slightly bent, arms floating at chest height, like a praying mantis or a sleeping baby. It is a profound physical surrender. As you move toward the crew quarters, you pass the airlock, the gateway to the void outside. And here, if you pay close attention, you can catch the faint, mysterious signature of space itself. It is a strange thing to say that space has a smell, for it is a vacuum, an emptiness devoid of air. But it leaves a trace. When the spacewalkers come back inside, or when the docking ports are pressurized, a distinct aroma clings to the suits and the metal. It is not an unpleasant smell, but it is industrial and ancient. It smells of seared metal, of welding fumes, of sweet ozone, and perhaps a little like burnt almond cookies or gunpowder. It is the scent of high-energy atomic oxygen clinging to the hull, the smell of stars burning in the cold. It reminds you that the metallic shell you live in is surrounded by a universe of intense energy and violent silence. You breathe it in, this faint perfume of the cosmos, and it grounds you in the reality of where you are. You reach your sleeping pod. It is small, about the size of a phone booth or a large closet, lined with white padding and white fabric. In a house on Earth, this space might feel cramped, but here, where you can utilize every cubic inch of volume, it feels cozy and private. It is your sanctuary. There is no up or down inside this pod. You can sleep on the wall, on the ceiling, or on the floor, and it would all feel exactly the same. The orientation is entirely up to you. You choose a surface that feels right for tonight, though your inner ear has long since stopped caring about the difference between ceiling and floor. Preparing for bed involves a unique set of choreography. You float in front of your personal kit. Brushing your teeth is a mindful activity. You capture a sphere of water from a dispenser, watching it wobble and shimmer in the air like a crystal marble. You trap it on your brush. There is no sink to spit into, so you wipe your mouth with a towel, creating a small, intimate ritual of conservation. Changing clothes is a matter of peeling off layers while drifting in midair, tucking your day clothes under a bungee cord so they don't wander off during the night. Every object must be secured. A loose sock or a pen left floating becomes a lost satellite that might drift into a ventilation intake while you sleep. So you Velcro your things to the wall, creating a neat, ordered constellation of personal effects around you. Finally, you turn to your sleeping bag. It is not a heavy duvet or a quilt meant to trap heat and provide weight. It is a lightweight sleeping sack, tethered to the wall of the pod. This tether is crucial. Without it, the gentle ventilation currents in the station would slowly push you around the room while you slept. You might drift into a computer panel or bump your head against a light fixture. The bag anchors you. It gives you a designated place in the geometry of the room. You unzip the bag and slide your legs inside. There is no mattress beneath you because you do not need one. A mattress is designed to cushion your body against the hard pull of gravity, to distribute your weight so your hips and shoulders don't ache. Here, you have no weight to distribute. You do not press against the bag, you float inside it. The fabric is there mostly for warmth and to provide a sense of containment. You zip it up to your chest, leaving your arms free to float. There is a moment of strange, delightful confusion as you settle in. Your brain, trained by decades of life on Earth, expects the sensation of a pillow under your head. It waits for the pressure of the bed against your back, but those sensations never come. Your head does not loll to the side. Your neck muscles do not need to support it. Your head simply floats in perfect alignment with your spine. Some astronauts strap a pillow to their head just to feel the pressure, to trick their brain into thinking they are lying down. But you decide to embrace the float. You let your head hover. You let your legs find that natural bent tuck inside the bag. You reach out and dim the lights in your pod. The hum of the station seems to grow slightly louder as the visual stimulation fades. You are floating in a small white box, traveling at orbital velocity, encased in a sleeping bag that holds you like a cocoon. You feel a profound sense of isolation, but not loneliness. It is a solitude of peace. The rest of the crew is in their own pods, floating just a few feet away through the thin walls. You are a small cluster of dreamers, suspended together in the dark. The sensation of the sleeping bag against your skin is light, a gentle touch that reminds you of your boundaries. You take a deep breath and your chest expands effortlessly. Even breathing feels different here. The air does not settle. It must be moved by fans to reach you. You are breathing in a rhythm with the machine that keeps you alive. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you feel a phantom sensation of tumbling, a somersault in the dark. It is your vestibular system seeking a horizon that isn't there. You acknowledge the feeling, smile at it, and let it pass. You are safe. You are tethered. You are home in the void. Now that you are tucked into your sleeping bag, and the visual world has been dimmed to the soft glow of standby lights, another sense begins to take over. On Earth, we often think of night as a time of quiet. We go to the countryside to escape the noise of traffic. We insulate our windows to block out the city. We seek a silence so deep that we can hear the ringing in our own ears. But here, in the vacuum of space, true silence is something you never actually want to hear. In a spacecraft, silence implies that the machinery has stopped. It implies that the life support systems have paused, and so the sound of the station is not noise. It is a song of survival. It is the steady, rhythmic assurance that the air is moving, the water is cycling, and the vessel is alive. As your eyes close, the auditory landscape of the station washes over you. It is a complex, layered symphony of mechanical sounds that is with you every second of your journey. At first, when you arrived, it might have seemed loud, a constant industrial din that made you raise your voice to speak to a crewmate. But now, after days or weeks in orbit, your brain has filtered it. It has smoothed the sharp edges of the sound until it has become a thick, comforting blanket of white noise. It is a constant hum, a vibration that wraps around you like a second skin. It is the sound of safety. The primary layer of this soundscape is the wind. On Earth, wind is weather. It gusts and lulls. It howls through trees and whistles around corners. Here, the wind is engineered. It is the sound of dozens of fans spinning tirelessly to keep the atmosphere mixed. In microgravity, warm air does not rise, and cold air does not sink. Without these fans, the carbon dioxide you exhale would form a stagnant, invisible bubble around your face while you slept. It would suffocate you gently. So the fans must blow constantly. They create a steady, rushing sound, like a strong breeze moving through a tunnel or the sound of a jet engine idling far away on a tarmac. It is a white noise that covers everything, a broad spectrum of frequencies that drowns out the smaller creaks and rattles of the station. It is a sound that says, breathe. Underneath the rushing wind there is a lower, deeper throbbing. This is the sound of the pumps. The station generates a tremendous amount of heat from its electronics and from the bodies of the crew. That heat must be moved. Liquid ammonia and water course through pipes hidden behind the wall panels, circulating through the station's cooling loops before flowing out to the radiators to dump the heat into space. You can hear the low-frequency thrum of these pumps if you press your ear against the wall of your sleeping pod. It is a heartbeat. It is a slow, rhythmic chugging that vibrates through the aluminium skeleton of the modules. It feels primordial, like the sound of blood rushing in the womb. It connects you physically to the machine. You can feel it in your back, a gentle tremor that travels through the tether of your sleeping bag. It rocks you, microscopically, a lullaby of fluid dynamics and thermal exchange. There are other, more intermittent sounds that sprinkle the soundscape. Occasionally, you hear the sharp click of a valve opening or closing. It is a purposeful mechanical sound, a robot tending to a garden. Sometimes there is the faint whine of a gyroscope spinning up to adjust the station's attitude, keeping the solar arrays pointed at the sun or the windows pointed at the earth. These sounds are not startling. They are part of the house settling for the night. On Earth, you might hear the timber of a roof creaking as it cools in the evening air. Here, you hear the metal skin of the station expanding and contracting as it moves from the searing heat of sunlight into the deep freeze of shadow. The hull pops and groans softly, a metallic sigh that travels through the structure. It is the sound of the ship reacting to the universe outside. This constant acoustic environment has a strange effect on the mind as you drift towards sleep. Because the sound is continuous and unchanging, it creates a kind of sensory deprivation. It masks everything else. It blocks out the sounds of your own body. It blurs the boundary between you and the room. You begin to feel as though you are dissolving into the hum. Some astronauts describe a phenomenon where the brain, bored by the constant white noise, begins to invent patterns within it. You might hear what sounds like a distant choir, or the faint melody of a song you haven't heard in years, or the murmur of voices in a crowded room. It is auditory pareidolia, your mind trying to find order in the chaos of the fan noise. But tonight, there are no phantom voices. There is only the smooth, unbroken texture of the machine. The noise is also a shield. It reminds you that you are inside, separated from the absolute silence that lies just a few inches away. Outside the hull, beyond the thin layers of aluminum and Kevlar, there is no sound at all. The vacuum is a place of perfect, terrifying stillness. A meteoroid could strike a rock in space, and it would make no noise. A star could collapse, and it would happen in silence. That vast, mute emptiness is always there, pressing against the windows. The hum of the fans is the force that pushes back. It creates a bubble of vibration, a sphere of life in a silent ocean. You learn to love the noise because it defines the boundary of your existence. As long as you hear the hum, you know you are safe. You let your attention wander through the different frequencies. You find the high singing note of a fan bearing spinning at thousands of revolutions per minute. You find the low bass rumble of the air handlers. You let them harmonize in your mind. It becomes hypnotic. It is a chant, a mantra that repeats over and over without pausing for breath. Safety. Air. Motion. Sleep. The sound seems to synchronize with your own breathing. You inhale the cool, filtered air, and the station hums. You exhale, and the station hums. You are breathing together. This acoustic cocoon makes the solitude of the crew quarters feel even deeper. You know your crewmates are sleeping nearby, but you cannot hear them breathe. You cannot hear them turn in their sleep. The wall of sound grants you total privacy. In a space no larger than a closet, you are as alone as you would be on a mountaintop. You are suspended in a sea of white noise, drifting in a box of white light, floating in a bag of white fabric. The sensory input is soft and uniform. It strips away the complexity of the day. There are no sudden car horns. There are no barking dogs. There are no sirens. There is only the machine, doing its job, carrying you through the dark. As your consciousness begins to fray at the edges, the sound changes character one last time. It stops being a sound you hear with your ears and becomes a vibration you feel in your bones. It resonates in your chest cavity. It buzzes lightly in your fingertips. You are no longer just a passenger on the ship. You are a component of it. You are vibrating at the same frequency as the station. This synchronization is deeply comforting. It feels as though the ship is holding you, vibrating to keep you warm, purring to keep you calm. You surrender to the drone. You let it wash away the last lingering thoughts of checklists and experiments. You let it drown out the memory of gravity. There is only the hum, and the float, and the long, smooth slide into the resting state. Although your eyes are closed and you are swaddled in the white fabric of your sleeping pod, your mind cannot help but drift back to the window. You know what is passing beneath you. You can feel the presence of the planet, like a gravitational warmth, a massive, silent partner in your journey through the night. Even without looking, you can visualize the grand panoramic slideshow that is unspooling just beyond the aluminum hull. It is a view that changes every second, a continuous stream of geography and weather that moves with the relentless, graceful speed of orbit. You are traveling at 5 miles every second. If you were to count to 10, you would have crossed an entire state or a small country. But from this height, that speed does not feel like rushing. It does not feel like the frantic blur of a car window or the shake of an airplane. It feels like a slow, majestic glide. It is the movement of a cloud drifting across a summer sky, only magnified to a planetary scale. It is a paradox of motion. You are racing through the void faster than a bullet, yet the world below seems to turn with a heavy, languid purpose. It is hypnotic. It is a motion designed to lull you to sleep. In your mind's eye, you can see the great swirls of the nighttime earth. The atmosphere is not the thin, transparent layer we imagine from the ground. From here, it is a thick, textured ocean of gas, roiling and churning in slow motion. You picture the vast banks of stratocumulus clouds stretching across the Pacific Ocean. At night, under the light of the moon and the stars, they look like fields of snow. They are not flat. They have topography. You can see the peaks and valleys of the cloud tops, casting long, soft shadows across one another. They look like a landscape of white dunes, endless and silent, hiding the dark water far below. As you drift further along your orbital track, you encounter the true giants of the atmosphere, the great swirls. These are the low-pressure systems, the storms and cyclones that spin across the globe like spinning tops. From the ground, a storm is grey skies and rain. From here, it is a work of art. You can see the perfect mathematical spiral of the clouds curling inward toward the eye. It looks like a galaxy made of vapor. It looks like milk stirred slowly into a cup of dark coffee. The arms of the storm stretch for hundreds of miles, feathery and delicate at the edges, dense and solid at the center. You watch in your imagination as you glide silently over the eye of such a storm. It is a deep, dark well in the center of the white swirl. Down there, the ocean is churning. Waves are crashing, and the wind is howling. But up here, there is only peace. You are detached from the weather. You are observing the turbulence of the world from a place of absolute safety. The storm passes beneath you in moments, a fleeting sculpture of water and air, and then it is gone, replaced by the calm, open ocean. The clouds are not the only things that swirl in the dark. As you cross the equator, you might pass over the intertropical convergence zone. It is a belt of thunderstorms that hugs the waste of the world. At night, these towering thunderheads look like pillars of cotton rising up to meet you. They glow from within. You can see the lightning flickering deep inside the clouds, not as jagged bolts, but as pulses of soft, diffuse light. It looks like a nervous system firing. It looks like a bioluminescent creature breathing in the deep sea. One pulse here, another pulse 1,000 miles away. It is the heartbeat of the tropics, flashing silently in the dark. The landmasses too have their own rhythm as they slide by. You might drift over the vast emptiness of the Sahara or the Australian outback. These regions are dark, darker than the oceans. They are void of city lights, void of clouds. They are patches of pure shadow on the surface of the world. Passing over them feels like flying over a black hole. It creates a sense of profound depth. You feel the age of the earth in those dark spaces, the ancient quiet stone that has been sitting under the stars for billions of years. It grounds you. It reminds you that the earth is mostly quiet, mostly empty, mostly asleep. Then slowly the texture changes again. You approach the high latitudes. The air gets colder down there. The clouds change from fluffy towers to long, thin streaks, stretched out by the jet streams. They look like brushstrokes on a canvas, fast and linear. You can see the flow of the atmosphere. You can see the wind itself, captured in the patterns of the vapor. It is a river of air that circles the planet, and you are floating above it, riding your own river of gravity. The sheer scale of this visual journey is difficult to comprehend, but easy to feel. You are seeing the world as a single interconnected organism. There are no borders visible in the dark. There are no lines on the map. There is only the flow of air and water, The swirl of the clouds, the drift of the continents. The weather in one hemisphere bleeds into the weather of the other. The ocean currents move heat from the equator to the poles. It is all one system, one giant, breathing bubble of life suspended in the nothingness. You realize that your orbit is weaving a basket around the planet. With every pass, you wrap the world in another invisible thread of your journey. You are binding yourself to it. The Earth is not just a planet. It is a cradle. It is rocking you. The rotation of the world below and your movement above creates a gentle, oscillating rhythm. You are swinging in a hammock that spans the entire globe. This visualization allows your mind to expand. You are no longer confined to the small white pod or the sleeping bag. Your consciousness spreads out to fill the view. You become the satellite. You become the eye that watches the storm. You become the silence above the clouds. The worries of your life on the ground seem infinitesimally small against the backdrop of those giant white swirls. The grandeur of the planet absorbs your tension. It is too big, too beautiful, and too slow to allow for anxiety. As the imaginary landscape scrolls by, you feel the heavy, comforting pull of sleep, beginning to match the pull of gravity. The visual show is slowing down in your mind. The clouds are blurring into a soft white noise of images. The flashes of lightning are becoming the flashes of dreams. You are drifting over the edge of the world, sailing toward a horizon that never ends, carried by the momentum of the ship and the stillness of your own breath. You are a traveler in the night, watching the great, sleeping face of the world turn just for you. Now, let this vast panoramic view fade gently from your mind. You don't need to watch the world anymore. It will keep turning without you. It will keep swirling and breathing and glowing in the dark, safe and steady. You can let the image of the clouds dissolve into a soft grey mist. You can let the lightning fade into a comfortable darkness. The show is over for now. The window is behind you. The world is below you, and you are here, safe inside the warmth of your pod. Feel the peace of that detachment. You have seen the grandeur of the planet, and now you have permission to look away. You have permission to close the curtain. The Earth is resting, and so are you. There is nothing to track. There is nothing to monitor. There is only the gentle, forward glide of the station, carrying you through the vacuum like a seed floating on a dark river. You are weightless. You are burdenless. You are simply existing in the quiet space between the stars. Let that feeling wrap around you like a warm blanket. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Drifting. Floating. Sleeping. You have settled into the quiet dark of your quarters, and the white noise of the fans has washed over you like a tide. Now you are left with the most profound and distinctive sensation of space flight. It is the feeling of your own body in the absence of the force that has defined it since the moment you were born. We spend our entire lives on Earth fighting gravity. We fight it to stand up. We fight it to lift our heads. We fight it to keep our blood pumping to our brains. Even when we sleep, we are interacting with it. We surrender to it, letting it pull us down into the mattress, pressing our heavy limbs into the soft foam. We curl up to conserve heat and comfort, creating a nest of pressure and friction. But here, there is no fight, and there is no surrender. There is only release. As you lie inside your sleeping bag, you notice first the absence of pressure points. On Earth, if you lay still for too long, your hip bone aches against the bed, or your ear goes numb against the pillow, or your heel digs into the sheet. You have to turn over. You have to adjust. You are constantly shifting your weight to find a position where gravity hurts the least. Up here, that concept simply vanishes. There is no pressure on your back. There is no pressure on your hips. You are not lying on anything. You are hovering inside something. The sleeping bag is not a bed. It is a cocoon. It is a shell. It is the only thing that gives you a sense of boundary. Without it, you would be a free-floating object, drifting aimlessly around the cabin, bumping gently into walls and laptops like a stray balloon. The bag provides the friction that gravity usually provides. It holds you in place. You feel the light touch of the fabric against your legs and your chest. It is a gentle, uniform hug. It reminds your body where its edges are. You realize that you are not lying down. In fact, lying down is a concept that requires down to exist. You are simply stationary. You are attached to the wall of your crew quarter, but to your inner ear, you could just as easily be on the ceiling or the floor. It makes absolutely no difference. You are a creature of pure suspension. Your body naturally drifts into the neutral body posture. This is the shape the human form takes when all the muscles relax completely. It is not straight like a soldier at attention. It is not curled tight like a ball. It is a soft, graceful curve. Your knees bend slightly, rising up toward your chest. Your hips flex. Your spine, freed from the compressive weight of your head and shoulders, lengthens and uncurls. You might feel a dull, pleasant ache in your back as the vertebrae expand, a sensation of growing taller, of years of gravity being slowly unwound from your skeleton. Your neck relaxes completely. Your head does not flop to the side because it weighs nothing. It simply floats there, perfectly aligned with your torso. And your arms. Your arms are the strangest part. On Earth, gravity pulls them down to your sides or onto the mattress. Here, they float up. They drift in front of your chest, elbows bent, hands loose and relaxed. It looks almost like a prayer, or the posture of a sleeping mantis. At first, it feels odd to have your hands floating in front of your face. You might find yourself tucking them inside the sleeping bag just to keep them under control, just to give them a job to do. But eventually, you let them float. You let them be weightless. You realize that for the first time in your life, you are not holding yourself up. You are not supporting a single ounce of your own mass. This release creates a sensation of incredible lightness. It is not just that your body is light. It is that your existence feels light. You feel like a spirit, like a consciousness that has been untethered from the heavy machinery of bone and muscle. You are a cloud inside a box. But there is a paradox here. You are weightless, yet you are tethered. You can feel the sturdy nylon straps that connect your sleeping bag to the wall. If you shift your weight, or if you push off slightly with a knee, the bag moves with you, and then the tether catches. It is a gentle, elastic rebound. You bounce microscopically against the wall. This subtle movement is comforting. It reminds you that you are anchored. You are not going to drift away into the ventilation ducts. You are safe. You are held. Sometimes, just as you are drifting off to sleep, your brain plays a trick on you. The otoliths in your inner ear, which usually tell you which way is down, are floating in fluid, sending confused signals. Suddenly, your brain decides that you are falling. You feel a rush of adrenaline, a phantom sensation of dropping off a cliff. You might jerk awake, gasping, your arms flailing out to catch yourself. This is the falling sensation that happens on Earth. But here it is more visceral. It is a reminder that you are, in fact, falling. You are falling around the Earth at 17,000 miles per hour. You are in a permanent state of freefall. But the panic lasts only a second. You realize where you are. You feel the wall against your back, or is it your side, and the fabric of the bag around you. You take a deep breath. You tell your inner ear that it is okay. We are falling, yes, but we are never going to hit the ground. The fall is infinite. The fall is the float. And the float is sleep. You begin to play with the sensation. You close your eyes and imagine you are underwater, deep in a calm tropical ocean, neutrally buoyant. But water has resistance. Water presses against you. This is lighter than water. This is lighter than air. This is the absence of everything. You are suspended in amber. You are a fly in a web of comfort. You can feel the slight vibration of the wall through the back of the sleeping bag. It travels into your spine. It is the ship talking to you again. If you press your head back against the padding, the vibration gets louder, a direct conduction of the station's energy into your skull. If you lift your head slightly, breaking contact with the wall, the vibration vanishes, and you are floating in pure silence again. You can toggle between connection and isolation just by moving your head an inch. You choose the connection. You let your head rest against the padded bumper. You let your knees float up. You let your arms drift. You are a passenger in a cosmic womb. The wall you are attached to is just a surface, a plane of reference in a universe that has no up or down. You could be sleeping on the ceiling of the world. You could be sleeping on the floor of the galaxy. Doesn't matter. You are safe in your bag. The feeling of the bunk walls is not one of confinement, but of definition. In the vastness of space, where distances are measured in light years and voids are measured in parsecs, this small, padded rectangle is your coordinate. It is your place. You are velcroed to reality. You are strapped to a dream, and as the last tension leaves your muscles, as your jaw unlocks and your fingers uncurl, you realize that this is the most natural way to sleep. We were water creatures once, floating in the sea. Then we were land creatures, fighting the dirt. Now we are space creatures, returning to the float. You are not heavy. You are not weary. You are simply present. You are a body at rest in a universe of motion. And that feeling, that absolute, perfect lack of weight, is the truest lullaby the cosmos can sing. Now, take that feeling of weightlessness and pull it deep into your mind. Imagine that your bed on Earth is not pulling you down, but holding you up. Imagine that the gravity pressing you into the mattress is actually a tether, just like the one in the station, keeping you safe, keeping you from drifting away. You are not heavy. You are anchored. Feel your own spine relaxing now. Just as it would in orbit, let your shoulders drop. Let your arms float, even if they are resting on the sheets. Let the tension drain out of your neck. You are safe here. You are supported. The world is holding you. The station is holding you. The gravity is holding you. You can let go. You can stop holding yourself up. There is nothing left to do but drift. Drift into the quiet. Drift into the dark. Drift into the dream. As you float there, suspended in your white fabric cocoon, the physical sensations of your body begin to fade. The memory of weight is gone. The awareness of your limbs is softening into a pleasant numbness. But as the tactile world recedes, the world of sound remains your final tether to reality. Beyond the steady rushing wind of the ventilation fans, there is another layer to the station's acoustic landscape. It is fainter, more intermittent, and deeply human. It is the quiet crackle of the radio loops. Most of the time, the communications panels are turned down low in the crew quarters. You do not want a loud call to wake you from a deep sleep, but many astronauts leave the volume just barely audible, a ghost of a sound hovering in the background. It is a choice born of habit and comfort. It is the desire to know that the line is still open. It is the need to hear the heartbeat of the ground. The sound is not continuous. It comes in waves. For long minutes, there is only the hum of the fans and the silence of the void. Then, suddenly, the speaker chirps. A burst of static cuts through the white noise. It is a soft, granular sound, like dry leaves skittering across a sidewalk, or the gentle hiss of rain on a tin roof. It is the sound of a signal travelling 22,000 miles up to a relay satellite, bouncing off a dish in white sands, travelling through fibre optic cables across a continent, and beaming back up to you. It is the sound of distance being bridged. Then comes the voice. It is usually the Capcom, the capsule communicator, sitting at a console in mission control in Houston. The voice is calm. It is incredibly disciplined. It is devoid of stress or urgency. In the history of spaceflight, that voice has become a symbol of steady nerves. It says things like, "Station, Houston, on Space to Ground 2 for an audio check," or perhaps, "Morning, Station, we have updated the solar array timeline for tomorrow." The content of the messages rarely matters to you in these moments before sleep. It is technical jargon. It is acronyms and numbers. It is the logistics of keeping a metal island functioning in a vacuum. But the tone is a lullaby. It is a flat, professional monotone that implies that everything is under control. There are no alarms ringing. There are no emergencies. There are just men and women in dark rooms in Texas, drinking coffee and watching telemetry screens, making sure your air is breathable and your orbit is stable. They are the guardians of your sleep. Sometimes the voice changes. As the station flies over the Atlantic and approaches the Russian border, the signal might hand over to Moscow. The language shifts. The cadence becomes deeper, more melodic in a Slavic way. You hear the guttural rhythmic sounds of Russian conversation between your crewmates in the other module and the ground controllers. Even if you do not speak the language fluently, the sound is comforting. It is the sound of old friends talking in a library. It is a reminder that this is a global effort, a shared vigil. The sun never sets on the people watching over you. When Houston is tired, Munich wakes up. When Munich sleeps, Tsukuba is online. There is always a light on in a window somewhere on Earth, looking up at you. There is a strange intimacy to these radio voices. You know these people. You have trained with them. You know their families. But right now, they are just disembodied spirits living in a speaker. They are voices in the dark. Listening to them feels like listening to a talk radio station late at night on a lonely highway. You are the truck driver moving through the endless black, and they are the DJ keeping you company. You feel less alone knowing that they are there. The static itself has a texture. It varies depending on which satellite you are communicating through. Sometimes the signal is crystal clear, as if the Capcom were floating right next to your ear. Other times it is fuzzy, breaking up into digital artifacts and quiet pops. These glitches are not annoying. They are reminders of the incredible journey the sound is taking. You imagine the radio waves moving through the vacuum, invisible ripples crossing the emptiness of space to reach your tiny, moving home. It makes the connection feel fragile and precious. You lie in your bunk and let the conversations wash over you. You do not try to understand them. You let the words dissolve into pure sound. Propulsion, check, thermal, nominal, good night. The words lose their meaning and become music. They are the rhythm of the night shift. You visualize the mission control room. You see the large screens glowing blue in the dim light. You see the flight controllers shifting in their chairs, rubbing their eyes, taking notes. You feel a surge of gratitude for their wakefulness. Because they are awake, you can afford to surrender. You can let go of your vigilance. You can trust the ship because they are flying it with you. There are moments of silence in the loop that are just as loud as the voices. These are the handover periods, or the brief seconds of loss of signal. In the old days of spaceflight, the silence could last for many minutes. Now, it is just a pause, a breath held between thoughts. In that silence, you feel the vastness of the orbit. You feel the station coasting on its momentum, sliding through the quiet gap between radio towers. Then the static returns, and the connection is re-established. The thread is unbroken. It acts as a pacifier for the astronaut's mind. It is a bedtime story told in the language of physics and engineering. It confirms that the timeline is proceeding as planned. It confirms that the future is scheduled. There is nothing unpredictable waiting for you when you wake up. The radio says that tomorrow is already written, and it is safe. As your breathing slows and matches the rhythm of the fans, the voices in the radio seem to drift further away. They become part of the dreamscape. You might imagine that the Capcom is reading you a story about a ship sailing on a calm sea. You might imagine that the Russian controller is singing a folk song about the snow. The logic of the brain begins to loosen. The technical terms float away like loose screws in zero gravity. Orbital mechanics becomes a feeling of rocking. Life support becomes a feeling of warm air. Ground control becomes the feeling of a heavy blanket. You are the child in the upstairs bedroom, listening to the murmur of your parents talking softly in the kitchen below. You don't need to hear what they are saying to know that it is safe to sleep. The tone is enough. The presence is enough. You are protected. You are monitored. You are loved from a distance of 250 miles. The crackle of the radio is the sound of humanity reaching out to touch the sky. It is the sound of a tether that can never be cut. And as the static fades into the velvet darkness of your mind, it carries you with it. a gentle wave of white noise rolling you onto the shores of sleep. You are drifting in the silence, but you are never truly alone. The voices are always there, whispering you through the void, watching your telemetry, guarding your dreams until the sun rises again in 45 minutes. Now, let the idea of that distant, watchful presence settle into your own room. You may not have a mission control center monitoring your breathing, but you are part of the same vast, interconnected web of life. Think of the people who care about you. Think of the steady, quiet rhythms of your own neighborhood, the cars driving by in the distance, the hum of the city or the crickets in the country. These are your radio loops. These are the signals that say the world is still turning, that life is continuing steadily around you. You are safe in your own orbit. You can turn down the volume of your thoughts. You don't need to monitor the frequency anymore. You don't need to check the signal. The connection is strong. The ground is solid beneath you, even if you feel like you are floating. You can let the voices of the day fade into static. You can let the worries of the world become a soft, distant hum. Everything is nominal. All systems are functioning. You have a go for sleep. Let the quiet take over. Let the stillness wrap you up. You are the captain of this ship, and your only mission right now is to rest. Good night, station. Good night, crew. Good night, you. Deep sleep in orbit is a journey through a fractured sense of time. On Earth, the night is a long and solid block of darkness. It stretches for 8 or 10 or 12 hours, a single continuous season of rest. The sun goes down, the world cools, and it stays cool until the birds begin to sing. But here, in this metal island coasting through the thermosphere, time has shattered. It has broken into small, repetitive shards of light and dark. You are living in a world where the day is only 90 minutes long. This is the orbital period of the International Space Station. Every hour and a half, you complete a full circle around the planet. You fly from the equator to the high north, down across the night side to the south, and back up again. This means that while you sleep for 8 hours, the sun will rise and set 5 or 6 times. You will travel through 5 entire days and 5 entire nights, while your body rests in a single dream. Even though you are tucked inside your windowless sleeping pod, or perhaps you have pulled the shutters closed over the port light, you cannot entirely escape this rhythm. It penetrates the ship. It is not just a visual change, it is a physical one. The station breathes in time with the orbit. When the station crosses the terminator line into sunlight, the change is abrupt. The external temperature on the hull swings instantly from 200 degrees below zero to 200 degrees above zero. The sudden influx of solar energy slams into the aluminum skin of the modules, and the station reacts. It expands. The metal trusses lengthen. The pressure shells swell microscopically. The radiators flex. Inside your quiet bunk, you hear this thermal shock as a series of metallic pops and pings. It sounds like rain hitting a tin roof or the settling of an old wooden house in winter. It is the ship stretching its muscles in the warmth. For 45 minutes, the station bathes in this intense, blinding light. The solar arrays drink it in, charging the batteries that will keep you alive during the eclipse. The light outside is hard and white, a relentless glare that would burn your retina in seconds. Even through closed shutters, if there is a tiny gap, a laser-thin beam of pure sunlight might track across the wall of the cabin, moving steadily like the hand of a clock. It marks the passage of the orbital day. Then, just as the metal has settled into the warmth, the sunset comes. You fly behind the shadow of the Earth. The light vanishes. The temperature plummets. The metal contracts. The station groans again. A different timber this time. A sound of tightening and shrinking. You are back in the cold. You are back in the night. At first, this rapid-fire cycle can be disorienting. Your biological clock, evolved over millions of years on the surface of the planet, screams for a 24-hour cycle. It wants a long morning and a long evening. But here, the sun is a strobe light in slow motion. It is a pendulum swinging back and forth. Light, dark, light, dark. with hypnotic regularity. However, as you settle into the experience of spaceflight, this rhythm stops being a disruption and becomes a lullaby. It becomes a new way to measure the flow of your rest. You are not sleeping through a single night. You are sleeping through seasons. You are sleeping through aeons. There is something profoundly comforting about the speed of it. On Earth, if you cannot sleep at 3 a.m., the night feels endless. You stare at the clock and wait for the dawn, and the dawn is hours away. It feels like the sun has forgotten you. But here, the sun never forgets. If you wake up in the dark, you know that the dawn is not hours away, it is minutes away. If you wait just a little while, the light will return, and if the light is too bright, you know the dark is chasing it just as fast. The cycle is too quick to allow for boredom or despair. It is a constant churning wheel of time that carries you forward. You begin to visualize this cycle as you drift. You imagine the station as a needle sewing a thread of light around the globe. You imagine yourself passing into the shadow, dipping into the cool, dark waters of the night, and then surfacing again into the warm air of the day. It is a rhythmic dunking, a cleansing cycle. Dip into the dark to rest, rise into the light to recharge, dip back into the dark to dream. This 90-minute heartbeat aligns with the natural cycles of human sleep. A typical sleep cycle, from light sleep to deep REM and back again, takes roughly 90 minutes. It is a strange cosmic coincidence. The orbit of the station and the orbit of your dreams are synchronized. As the station flies into the dark, your brain dives into the deep restorative delta waves of sleep. As the station flies back into the sunlight, you might rise into the lighter rapid eye movement phase, your dreams becoming vivid and bright, illuminated by the energy of the sun outside. You are a biological machine syncing up with a celestial mechanic. The knowledge of this speed also creates a sense of detachment from the earth below. Down there, people are stuck in their time zones. They are trapped in Tuesday morning or Friday night. They are waiting for the weekend. They are waiting for lunch. But you are moving too fast for calendars. You are spinning the hands of the clock until they blur. You are outside of time. You are floating in a capsule of eternity where the only thing that matters is the rhythm of the light. This rapid alternation of day and night washes away the concept of waiting. There is no waiting in orbit. There is only cycling. It teaches you to let go of the rigid structure of your life. You realize that the sun does not govern you anymore. You govern your own rest. You have created your own night inside your pod, a private darkness that stays constant while the universe flashes outside. You feel the vibration of the hull as the station cools down again. Pop, creak. It is the sound of the ship tucking you in. It is the sound of the blanket being pulled up. The cold of the shadow is wrapping around the module, insulating you from the fire of the stars. You feel a deep sense of protection. The shadow of the earth is a shield. It blocks the sun. It blocks the radiation. It creates a tunnel of safety for you to fly through. For these 45 minutes of darkness, you are hidden. You are invisible to the sun. You are a secret keeper flying through the void. And then, when the warmth returns, you will be reborn. You will wake up, just slightly, in your sleep, feeling the shift in the air pressure, the shift in the sound, the shift in the energy. You will turn over in your sleeping bag, floating freely, and you will smile, knowing that another day has just passed in the span of a single dream. The cycle continues. Light, dark, expansion, contraction. It is the breathing of a giant. It is the heartbeat of the orbit. And you are resting right in the center of it, held in the pause between the beats. You let the rhythm rock you. You let the flashing sun become a flicker behind your eyelids, a gentle strobe that guides you deeper and deeper into the float. You are a time traveler, sleeping through the centuries of the night, drifting on the waves of a fast-forward universe. Now, bring that rhythm down from the sky and into your own body. Imagine that the 90-minute orbit is slowing down, stretching out, becoming soft and long. You don't need to rush anymore. You are not traveling at 17,000 miles per hour. You are traveling at the speed of your own breath. Visualize the cycle of light and dark not as a flashing strobe, but as a slow, gentle dimming of the lights. Think of your own breathing as the orbit. Inhale, and you are rising into the warmth and the light. Exhale, and you are dipping into the cool, safe shadow. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, release. You are creating your own gravity now. You are creating your own time. The world outside can spin as fast as it wants. It can rush through its days and its nights. But you are here, in the center of the wheel where everything is still. You are the quiet point in the turning world. Let the cycle slow down until it matches the beating of your heart. Slow, steady, infinite. You are perfectly in sync with the night. As the rhythm of the orbital sunrise and sunset becomes a familiar pulse in your mind, you turn your thoughts to the things you cannot see. Space is often described as an empty void, a nothingness between worlds. But that is not entirely true. The space around the station is thick with invisible forces. It is alive with energy. And the most comforting of these forces is the one that is currently wrapping itself around you like a suit of armor. It is the Earth's magnetic field. You lie in your bunk and visualize the planet below you not just as a ball of rock and water, but as a colossal engine. Deep beneath the blue oceans and the continents, thousands of miles down, the Earth's core is spinning. It is a churning ocean of molten iron and nickel, rotating and convecting in the dark. This movement generates a massive electrical current, which in turn creates a magnetic field that stretches far out into space. It surrounds the planet like a giant, invisible bubble. It creates a teardrop shape in the solar wind, with a round nose facing the sun and a long streaming tail trailing off into the dark behind us. You are floating inside that bubble right now. You are tucked safely within the magnetosphere. This is your shield. Outside of this protective envelope, the sun is not just a source of light and heat. It is a relentless cannon of charged particles. It sprays the solar system with a constant stream of radiation known as the solar wind. If you were standing on the surface of the moon or traveling to Mars, you would be exposed to the full fury of that stream. But here, in low Earth orbit, the planet is holding up an umbrella for you. The magnetic field lines catch those high-energy particles and deflect them. They guide the radiation around the Earth, like water flowing around a stone in a stream. Imagine those field lines. They arc out from the South Pole, curve high over the equator where you are sleeping, and dive back down into the North Pole. They form a cage of magnetic energy. You are the bird sleeping safely inside the cage while the storm blows outside. You cannot feel this field. You cannot touch it. But you know it is there. It is the reason your compass points north. It is the reason the atmosphere hasn't been stripped away by the sun. It is the reason life exists at all. Sometimes, however, you can see the shield at work. If you were to float back to the window while the station passes near the poles, you would see the battle between the sun and the earth painted in the sky. You would see the aurora. From the ground, the northern lights are a distant shimmering curtain on the horizon. Up here, you do not look up at them. You fly through them. You drift right over the top of the glowing green ribbons. They look like rivers of neon light flowing through the upper atmosphere. They twist and curl, forming impossible shapes that dance in silence. Sometimes they are a pale, ghostly green. Other times they are edged with violet or deep red. This is the atmosphere glowing as the magnetic field funnels the solar wind down toward the poles. It is the visual signature of your protection. It is the shield dissipating the energy of the stars, turning violence into beauty. Knowing that you are inside this magnetic fortress allows you to relax even deeper. There is a sense of being held in a cosmic embrace. The Earth is not just a rock you are orbiting, it is an active guardian. It is pushing back the darkness for you. It is carving out a safe harbor in the vacuum. There is, however, a strange phenomenon that happens when you close your eyes in space, a reminder that the shield is not solid like a wall but porous like a net. It is called the cosmic ray visual flash. Even with your eyelids shut tight, even in the darkest part of the orbital night, you might suddenly see a tiny, brilliant speck of white light flash across your vision. It looks like a single pixel firing on a screen, or a tiny shooting star crossing the back of your retina. This is a cosmic ray. It is a high-energy particle that has traveled from a supernova explosion millions of light years away. It has crossed the galaxy, pierced the heliosphere, slipped through the Earth's magnetic net, punched through the aluminum hull of the station, and passed directly through your optic nerve. It triggers a false signal that your brain interprets as a flash of light. The first time it happens, it might be startling. You wonder if you saw a spark in the cabin. You open your eyes, but the room is dark. You close them again, and wait. Minutes pass. Then, flash, another one. A tiny, silent streak. But soon, you come to view these flashes not as intrusions, but as visitors. They are messengers from deep space. They are the only way you can directly sense the universe with your eyes closed. They are a reminder that you are transparent to the cosmos. You are part of the fabric of space. The station walls cannot stop them. Your eyelids cannot stop them. They pass through you as if you were made of mist. There is a specific region over South America called the South Atlantic Anomaly. It is a place where the Earth's magnetic field is slightly weaker, dipping closer to the surface. When the station flies through this dent in the shield, the radiation levels rise slightly. The computers on the station might register a few more bit flips, and you, floating in your bunk, might see the flashes behind your eyes increase in tempo. Flash, flash, flash. It is a gentle meteor shower playing out on the inside of your mind. It does not hurt. It does not wake you fully. It simply tells you where you are. You can feel the geography of the magnetic field just by lying there with your eyes closed. You know when you are deep in the equatorial safety, and you know when you are skimming the edges of the anomaly. You are navigating the invisible terrain of the magnetosphere in your sleep. The presence of the magnetic field adds a layer of depth to your sense of place. You are not just floating in a box. You are floating inside a complex, layered system of defenses. First the hull of the station, then the thin atmosphere below, then the magnetic field lines arching above, then the gravity well holding it all together. You are at the center of a nesting doll of protection. You imagine the field lines glowing in the dark, great arcs of blue energy sweeping over the station. They are like the ribs of a giant leviathan, and you are sleeping in the belly. Or they are the structural beams of a great cathedral, transparent and indestructible. They define the space that belongs to Earth. Outside of them is the deep, cold, hostile void. Inside of them is home. You feel a sense of gratitude for this planetary geometry. The spinning iron core far below you is doing the heavy lifting. It is generating the force that keeps the solar wind at bay. It allows you to sleep here, 400 kilometers up, without fear. You are being cradled by the dynamo of the world. As you drift toward the edge of consciousness, the image of the aurora fades. The flashes behind your eyes become part of your dreams, turning into stars or fireflies or city lights in your memory. You trust the shield. You trust the physics. You know that the magnetic lines will hold. They have held for billions of years, through solar storms and cosmic winters. They will hold for tonight. They will hold you until the morning. Now take a moment to feel the protections that surround you in your own life. Just as the station is wrapped in its magnetic shield, you are wrapped in layers of safety. Think of the walls of your room. They are your hull. They block the wind and the rain. Think of the roof above you. It is your shield. Think of the warmth of your blanket. It is your own personal atmosphere. You are cocooned in safety. The world outside may be vast and sometimes chaotic, but in this space, in this bed, you are secure. Nothing can reach you here. The storms are far away. The noise is far away. Imagine that there are invisible lines of protection arching over your bed, just like the magnetic field of the Earth. They create a dome of peace around you. Inside this dome, the air is still. Inside this dome, time moves slowly. You are the center of a quiet, safe universe. Let your guard down completely. You don't need to be vigilant. The walls are strong. The roof is sound. The blanket is warm. You are protected by the architecture of your home and the gravity of the Earth. You can close your eyes and let the feeling of safety sink into your bones. You are safe. You are held. You are home. As you lie in the quiet dark, cushioned by the magnetic fields and the steady hum of the station, you allow your mind to expand outward again, this time to contemplate the most fundamental reality of your existence here, the motion. It is a strange thing to consider that right now, while your body feels perfectly still, perfectly weightless, and perfectly at rest. You are moving faster than any human being has ever moved on the surface of the earth. You are traveling at 17,500 miles per hour. That is nearly 5 miles every second. You are moving 10 times faster than a rifle bullet. You are moving fast enough to cross the Atlantic Ocean in the time it takes to eat a hurried breakfast. And yet, inside your sleeping bag, you feel nothing. There is no wind in your face. There is no roar of an engine pushing you back into your seat. There is no vibration of wheels on pavement or turbulence of air over a wing. The station is not powering its way through the void. It is coasting. The engines are off. The thrusters are silent. You are riding the sheer, unblemished momentum of a launch that happened years ago, conserved perfectly in the vacuum of space. This is the paradox of orbit. It is a state of extreme speed and extreme stillness existing in the same moment. On Earth, speed usually means noise. It means energy expenditure. It means shaking. Here, speed is silence. It is a pure, frictionless glide. You are an arrow that never stops flying. But you are not flying in a straight line. If you were, you would have drifted away from the Earth long ago, lost in the deep black of the outer solar system. No, you are doing something much more miraculous. You are falling. Deep in your mind, you visualize the physics of it. It is the only bedtime story that matters up here. You imagine the station not as a flying machine, but as a stone thrown by a giant hand. If you throw a stone on Earth, gravity pulls it down, and it hits the ground a few feet away. If you throw it faster, it flies further before it curves down to hit the dirt. But if you throw it fast enough, at exactly 17,500 miles per hour, the curve of the stone's fall matches the curve of the Earth. As the station falls toward the planet curves away beneath it. You are falling toward the horizon, but the horizon keeps running away. You are trapped in an infinite loop of falling and missing the ground. That is what orbit is. It is a perpetual, graceful surrender to gravity that never results in an impact. You can feel this pull if you tune your senses to it. We often talk about zero gravity, but that is a misnomer. At this altitude, Earth's gravity is still very strong, about 90% of what it is on the surface. It hasn't gone away. It is reaching up and grabbing the station with a grip of iron. It is swinging you around the planet on an invisible tether. Imagine you are a child spinning a weight on the end of a string. You can feel the tension in the string, the force pulling the weight outward while your hand pulls it inward. You are inside the weight. The Earth is the hand. Gravity is the string. This realization changes how you feel about the float. You aren't just drifting aimlessly. You are being held. You are being swung in a grand cosmic cradle. The force of your speed wants to fling you out into the stars, into the cold and the dark. The force of gravity wants to pull you down into the fire of the atmosphere, and you are resting in the perfect balanced center where those two giants meet. You are safe in the equilibrium. This balance is incredibly stable. It doesn't require computers to maintain it. It doesn't require fuel. It is a law of nature. It is as solid as the ground itself. You can sleep soundly knowing that Isaac Newton is at the wheel. The math will not let you fall. The momentum will not let you stop. Sometimes, the sensation of speed sneaks up on you visually. If you were to look at the stars, they would seem frozen, pinned to the black velvet of the universe. They are too far away to show motion. But if you look at the Earth, the speed is undeniable. The continents do not drift. They scroll. The mountains rush by. The cities stream past like sparks in a wind tunnel. But inside the pod, with your eyes closed, the speed becomes a feeling of purpose. You are going somewhere. You are not stagnant. Even in your sleep, you are circumnavigating the globe. You are tracing a line around humanity. There is a deep comfort in this relentless forward motion. On Earth, we often feel stuck. We feel weighed down by our problems, by our geography, by the stillness of our situations. Up here, you are never stuck. You are always moving on to the next continent, the next ocean, the next sunrise. You are leaving the past behind at 5 miles per second. If you had a bad day over Europe, it's gone. You are over the Pacific now. If you made a mistake over Asia, don't worry. You are approaching the Americas. The orbit washes everything clean. It offers you a fresh perspective every 90 minutes. You let yourself lean into the turn. You imagine the vast curved path you are tracing. It is a circle of safety. The station is a tiny metal moon, and like the real moon, it is faithful to its path. It will not deviate. This falling sensation, once you accept it, becomes the ultimate relaxation. To sleep on Earth, you have to hold yourself up, or find a bed to do it for you. You have to resist the fall. Here, you have given in to it completely. You have accepted the fall as your permanent state of being. And in that acceptance there is peace. You are falling around the world, and the world is catching you over and over and over again, every single second. You feel the inertia of the station in your bones. It is a heavy, massive object, weighing nearly 1 million pounds. It has tremendous momentum. It plows through the thin wisps of the thermosphere, like an ocean liner cutting through calm water. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can bump it off course. You are riding inside a cannonball that has become a home. The velocity acts as a cocoon. It separates you from the static world below. You are untouchable in your speed. You are too fast for the rain. You are too fast for the wind. You are too fast for the worries of the ground to catch you. They reach up, but you are already gone, vanishing over the horizon into the night. As you drift deeper into the dark, you let the concept of fast dissolve into the concept of smooth. The number, 28,000 kilometers per hour, loses its violence and keeps only its power. It becomes a river current, wide and deep and strong. You are floating on a raft in the center of that river. The current is carrying you effortlessly. You don't need to paddle. You don't need to steer. You just need to lie back and let the physics carry you home. You are a traveler of the void, wrapped in speed, held by gravity, suspended in the balance. The planet is your anchor, and the orbit is your swing, back and forth, round and round. The motion is endless. The motion is silent. The motion is sleep. Now take a moment to find that sense of momentum in your own stillness. Even in your bed on Earth, you are moving. The Earth is spinning. The planet is orbiting the sun. The sun is moving through the galaxy. You are never truly still. You are always on a journey. Feel the momentum of the Earth carrying you. It is a massive, steady ship. It is moving through the cosmos with absolute certainty. You don't need to worry about steering the planet. You don't need to worry about keeping it on course. It knows where it is going. Imagine that your bed is a raft on a slow, wide river. The current is gentle but strong. It is carrying you toward tomorrow. You can pull your oars in. You can stop rowing against the current. You can stop trying to get somewhere. You are already moving. Trust the motion. Trust the river. Trust that you will arrive exactly where you need to be when the sun rises. For now, just float. Just ride the current. Let the momentum of the universe rock you to sleep. Before you finally surrender to the deep and dreamless sleep that waits for you, your mind performs one last, quiet ritual. It is a ritual common to every human being who has ever left the atmosphere. You remember the ground. It is a strange instinct. You are surrounded by the miracle of spaceflight. You are living the dream of the future. Yet, as your consciousness begins to blur, it reaches back to the primordial past. It reaches back to the dirt. You find yourself conjuring the phantom sensations of Earth. You imagine the feeling of heavy, damp soil beneath your bare feet. You imagine the rough, solid bark of an oak tree against your palm. You imagine the smell of rain hitting hot asphalt in the summer, that sharp electric scent of petrichor that simply does not exist up here in the filtered, recycled air. These memories are not sad. They are grounding. They serve as a mental anchor. You visualize a field of tall grass moving in the wind. In the station, air moves, but it does not gust. It pushes steadily from vents. But in your mind, you feel the chaotic, swirling breeze of a hillside. You feel the warmth of the sun, not as a blinding radiation source through a thick window, but as a gentle heat soaking into your skin through a cotton shirt. You remember gravity, not the crushing force of a rocket launch, but the gentle, constant hug of the planet. You remember what it feels like to sit in a heavy leather chair sinking into the cushions, letting the furniture take the weight of your bones. You remember the feeling of a heavy quilt pressing down on your legs on a winter night. You reconstruct that pressure in your mind. You drape the memory of gravity over yourself like a weighted blanket. It helps you feel contained. It helps you feel real. This mental return to Earth is your way of saying goodnight to the mother world. You are checking in on your origins one last time. You are reminding yourself that although you are floating in a metal can in the vacuum, you are still a creature of the Earth. You carry the planet within you. The salt in your tears is the salt of the ocean. The calcium in your bones is the limestone of the cliffs. You are a small piece of the Earth that has learned to fly, and tonight you are dreaming of home. But then, as the memory of the ground fades, a new sensation takes over. The deep cosmic drift. You let go of the Earth. You let the image of the blue marble recede until it is just a presence behind you. You turn your internal gaze outward, toward the other side of the ship, toward the universe. You are not just orbiting a planet. You are drifting in a galaxy. You are suspended in the great silent expanse of the Milky Way. You realize that the station is not just a house, it is a spaceship. It is a tiny vessel of light and warmth, traveling through an infinite night. You feel the walls of the module around you, but you no longer feel confined by them. Instead, you feel them as a thin skin separating you from the eternal. Just a few inches away is a vacuum that has existed for billions of years. Just a few inches away is a silence deeper than any silence on Earth. You let your mind expand into that silence. You let your awareness drift out through the hull, past the solar arrays, past the magnetic shield, and out into the deep black. You float among the stars. They are steady and unblinking. They are ancient suns burning in the distance, watching over your sleep. You feel a kinship with them. They are floating in the void just like you. They are held by gravity just like you. The vastness of space is not scary tonight. It is roomy. It is open. It creates a sense of infinite possibility. On Earth, your world is limited by the horizon. Here, there is no horizon. There is only the endless depth of space. You can fall in any direction forever. This feeling of cosmic drift is the ultimate liberation. You are untethered from the petty worries of the surface. Politics, traffic, schedules, noise, all of that is trapped in the gravity well below. You have escaped. You are floating above it all, literally and metaphorically. You are a silent observer, passing through the night without leaving a footprint. Your breathing slows down to match the rhythm of this drift. You are breathing with the universe now. Inhale. The universe expands. Exhale. The universe holds you. You feel a profound sense of trust. You are trusting the physics of the orbit. You are trusting the engineers who built the walls. You are trusting the teammates sleeping in the pods next to you. But mostly, you are trusting the void. You are trusting that it is okay to let go. It is okay to be small. It is okay to be weightless. The separation between your body and the sleeping bag seems to vanish. The separation between the sleeping bag and the wall dissolves. You are no longer a person in a bunk. You are a consciousness floating in a star field. You are a speck of stardust returning to the quiet. The hum of the fans becomes the hum of the cosmos. The vibration of the pumps becomes the vibration of energy flowing through space. You are perfectly integrated into the moment. There is no up, there is no down, there is no north or south, there is only here, there is only now. You are suspended in the center of everything. You feel a heavy, sweet wave of sleep rising up to meet you. It is not a falling sensation anymore. It is a dissolving sensation. You are becoming part of the night. The bright lights of the day are gone. The checklists are done. The radio is quiet. The earth is safe. You are safe. You take one last deep breath of the cool, recycled air. It tastes clean. It tastes like the future. You exhale slowly, blowing away the last tension in your fingertips. Your hands float in front of you, weightless and relaxed. Your eyes are heavy, sealed shut against the visual flash of the cosmic rays. You are ready. You are a traveler on the longest journey, and you have reached the quietest harbor. The station holds you, the planet anchors you, the stars watch you, and the drift carries you. You surrender your thoughts. You surrender your weight. You surrender to the deep velvet embrace of the orbit. You are flying in your sleep. You are dreaming in the stars. And for the next 8 hours, you are the most peaceful thing in the universe. The journey is complete. You have traveled from the bright, busy surface of the world to the silent sanctuary of the stars. You have left the weight of the day far below you. Now there is nothing left to do. There is nowhere else you need to go. You have arrived at the perfect destination. Feel the quiet settle into your chest. Feel the stillness spread through your limbs. You are not just imagining this peace, you are creating it. You have built a space station inside your own mind, a place where gravity cannot touch you, where the noise cannot reach you, where the worries of the world simply float away. You are the astronaut of your own dreams. You have the controls. You have set the course for deep rest. The systems are all green. The orbit is stable. You can turn off the lights. You can let go of the helm. The universe will carry you for the rest of the night. Tomorrow, the sun will rise again. It will paint the world in blue and gold. The work will return. The life will return. But that is tomorrow. Right now, in this eternal night, there is only the float. There is only the soft, rhythmic breathing of a body at rest. There is only the gentle, invisible hold of the dark. Sleep now. Let the stars be your blanket. Let the silence be your pillow. You are safe. You are loved. You are home.